guys, welcome to my channel. About 2 years ago, I got my eyebrows microbladed. If you want to see the original video of that, I did a vlog that day. I will link that up in the corner over here and also down in the description so you could check it out and see how that went. But since it's been almost 2 years, I thought that I would do a little update video. Talk about if I regret it, if it faded, if I'm gonna go back to do touch-ups, if I think touch-ups are necessary, all of that good stuff. So let's begin by talking about what microblading is. If you don't know, it's basically a semi-permanent tattoo type of situation done on your eyebrows, and it imitates like actual hair strokes, so it looks pretty natural. Semi-permanent is going to fade over time, which I think is a good thing because, as we know, eyebrow trends change, and they basically do it by scraping your skin, like putting little cuts in it that look like hair strokes and then putting a dye on it. If you want to know more about the procedure and how long it took for them to heal and if it was painful or not, then definitely check out my video from the original experience when I vlogged that. So now let's talk about what they look like now, almost 2 years later. I don't have any makeup on my eyebrows right now, so this is what they look like without makeup. So it definitely looks like they faded a bit, but not so much where it's completely gone or anything, or it looks bad. It just looks more like faded. The lines aren't crisp. You can't really see the hair strokes anymore, but it's still there and it still kind of adds that darkness to my eyebrows, which is really nice because I still feel like I don't have to wear makeup if I'm just running out or just wanting to look natural. I feel like I don't have to put anything on my eyebrows, which is definitely super nice. But if I am doing a more glamorous look or if I'm going out, then I will usually fill them in because they are a little bit lighter than I might like for those types of occasions. I think the biggest thing is that the hair strokes aren't as pronounced as they were when they were fresh, but they still look better than they did without any sort of microblading. Also, the color is literally still perfect. They color matched my eyebrows so nicely. At first, they look a little bit red, and that is normal. Like, it looks like dye is a little bit too warm or too red tone, but it fades and becomes a little bit more gray. Thankfully, they're not like super gray, like gray blue, like what you might imagine really old-fashioned eyebrow tattoos to look like. So honestly, results were great. So now I want to talk about how I've been taking care of them post the treatment. Thing is, I really haven't been doing anything to them. I've been avoiding putting like retinols or serums on my eyebrows because that is going to make your skin regenerate faster and make it fade faster. My skin is a little bit on the oily side, so I think if you have drier skin, it might not fade as much. If you have even more oily skin, it might fade more. So it varies from person to person. Next question is, do I regret getting this done? If you saw my other video, you'll know that the procedure was somewhere close to $900 or almost $1,000. And then the perfecting appointment was also another $300 or so if I remember correctly. So it was an expensive treatment. Do I regret it? Was it worth the money? And I think that it was definitely worth the money, and I do not regret it. Of course, depending on your income, it might be a little bit out of reach. I got this procedure done when I was still in college and I was just working a part-time minimum wage job, and I managed to save up for it. So I think that it is definitely doable, but just the ease that it has brought me with when it comes to makeup and even just looking better without wearing any makeup. My eyebrows were always one of the things I was very self-conscious about if I didn't fill them in because they are very light, and on the ends they're pretty sparse. So if I was doing makeup, like my bare minimum makeup always included eyebrows. I was like, I can go out the house without wearing any makeup as long as I fill in my eyebrows. So for me, this was important, and the microblading brought a lot of ease into my life and it made me feel a lot more confident. I just liked the way I looked naturally more. So yeah, I think for me, it was totally worth it. Next topic is, am I going to get touch-ups or do I need touch-ups? And the answer is yes. I am planning on getting my eyebrows touched up soon, and I will be filming a vlog when that happens. I actually just reached out to the place I went to, ElleBrow in New York City, and asked them if it's time for my touch-ups. And they haven't gotten back to me. Maybe if they do, by the time I edit this video, I will put it on screen. I'm definitely not an expert personally, so they asked me to send a photo of my eyebrows and they're gonna tell me when it's time for a touch-up, because with microblading, less is more. You don't want to look like a clown. But yeah, I will be vlogging that. So if you have anything that you are specifically interested in seeing when I go do that, then comment down below right now so that I can make sure to include it in that video. The next thing I want to talk about is whether I wish I did powder brows or micro shading, or if I'm happy with the microblading that I done. So if you're not familiar, there's a couple of different types of eyebrow microblading styles, I guess you can call them. So the first is powder brows, where it's like very sharp on the edge, and it's not done with the brush strokes, so it looks kind of like you've just filled in your eyebrows with makeup, kind of circa 2016 extremely bold eyebrow style. There's also micro shading, which is the combination of the two, where they'll do the hair strokes in the front of your eyebrows, and then on the ends of the eyebrows they will do micro shading and it'll be darker. And then microblading is just when they do the brush strokes throughout. And I am happy that I did the microblading and not the others, because it is a more natural look. I think that if I want a bolder look, it's super easy to just fill it in. Now that the shape of them is so perfect, I have that guideline with the microblading. If I want them to look super bold, it's easy to fill them in with just a pencil or something. Also, I feel like if I did the powder brows, then if I wasn't wearing any makeup, they would look out of place compared to like everything else. And then also, we all saw this sort of soap brow, fluffy brow style in the past few years. So I think that the natural look is a bit more in, so I think I'm glad that I went with just a natural enhancement. That way, if I'm just not wearing any makeup at all, it doesn't look like I did just my eyebrows, you know what I mean? Was it worth traveling to New York City and getting it done at a more expensive place? Personally, I think yes, it was worth seeking out a really good studio to do this at. It was pricier than some of the other options around my area in New Jersey. I don't live too far, so it wasn't like a very difficult trip to get to New York City. I wasn't like flying in. I would say it's not worth to fly in, because I'm sure there's really nice places around your area, but you might want to consider traveling an hour or so just to find the best place. And I think it's worth paying a little bit more money if the place is very good and you really like their results, because this is something that is going to stay on your face for at least 2 years. As we can see, it's still on my eyebrows. If they really mess it up, then that isn't good. So it's gonna stay on your eyebrows for probably, if you don't touch them up, it'll probably fade after 4 or 5 years, but it's gonna stay on there at least a little bit for a while. So bottom line, conclusion, I do not regret this procedure. It was such a good decision. I'm very happy, and I am going to be doing a touch-up soon so that I can kind of maintain that fresh, clean, natural eyebrow look without any effort. I would recommend microblading for people that can afford it, or even if it's a little bit out of your price range but it's something that you are very interested in, then I think it is worth to save up for. That is the end of my little update. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!